So is it Ryu or Ryu?
I think it's Ryu.
What? Like you?
It was sort of like that. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese very well. But at my arcade, people used to fuck up like all the pronunciations of things. They would call Guile like General Isle because it looked like there was kind of a period in there.
They called it Guili at my arcade because they were Italian.
Oh,
like, a little bit of Guili.
That's pretty good.
Hey guys, I got next on this.
Hey, what the fuck? I've been waiting here for 40 minutes. Get back in the line.
Oh yeah?
Next.
I got next.
Oh!
Hot
Coin syrup, son.
仕事へ行きたくない学校なんかつまんないみんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊びたい遊びたいどこでも行っても同じだみんなで歌を歌うんだみんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊んだらどうだらワンアップショーを見ましょうワンアップショーで遊ぼうワンアップショーワオすごいワンアップショーやったよこれはワンアップショーです
I have to admit, like I was kind of surprised at first, like when I first started up. I'm like, oh no, it's pretty much just the same as Wild World. But they actually did add quite a bit of like little things here and there. Like, well, the city is the biggest thing.
The first thing I did was go to the city at the first, available opportunity. So I went and rode the little bus.
I think the Happy Room Academy, which actually has an office in the city now, you can go in there, you can talk to the representative, and he'll
Which
kind
is
of
Lyle, actually.
yeah, and
he lost his insurance job, I guess.
yeah. And he'll basically like give you the rundown of like what actually makes a good house, which is nice because before, the Happy Room Academy would just send you letters and give you a score. So now they'll explain it to you, and now they actually give you a demo room where I think it also pulls from WeConnect 24, and it gives you like an example room, and if you make your room look like that one, then you get bonus points.
I actually really am curious about the town or the city itself. Like, does it expand at some point? For right now, it seems like all the lots are taken up except for one. There's like the shoe shine guy. I actually went to the shampoo shop and got a makeover. So I did a me thing, but I'm playing on like the office one, and the only me on there was a Link me.
Yeah.
So I tried. And it was funny because my character's a girl and Link's a boy, so... But I was a little disappointed because I went to go put on a hat in the store, and it actually, when I tried it on, it took off the mask. So I was a little disappointed that I couldn't be a me with my accessories and things like that.
I'm surprised like they kind of made such a bigger deal out of the emoting stuff, because obviously the big thing with city folk is we speak. So if you have the microphone and people are visiting your town, you just speak and everybody in that town can hear you. So it's like the need to actually do emotes and things like that isn't really as necessary.
Emotes, I kind of wish since you can talk to your friends, I wish they had maybe changed it so you use emotes to interact with the animals.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought too when you go to the theater and you get the emotes, is that you go into town and like if you do the exclamation point thing, like they'll react to you, but they really don't.
The moody guy in the theater, you have to pay to go watch his stupid little show that you can't fast forward his stupid jokes if you just want all your emotions. I didn't like the way that they put like the UI for letter writer. You can't use the nunchuck to go through the keyboard, which is really frustrating for me because I hate pointing at the screen for each letter press. I even changed it to cell phone input, so it was like easier for me. But I really wish they would just let you use the nunchuck for it. I like a lot of the, motion controls and pointing stuff. I feel is just really tacked on, and I wish they did like better stuff with that.
They also added something that I actually really like on the D-pad. If you press like left or right, you can just switch through all your tools. You don't have to go straight to the menu screen, which is nice. And the fishing, you can do the gesture of fishing and pull up and the net thing. But another kind of neat thing you can do, which I haven't tried yet, but you did, is you can import your Wild World character.
And I'm thinking, awesome, I could take all my items over. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Wild World, so I like dug out my copy and I turned it on and transferred it, and it transferred really fast. So I'm like, wow, okay, that was really quick. But then when I booted up the game, I was in the tiny, dinky little house. My character looked like my Wild World character, and I didn't have any new items or anything, so I was a little disappointed at first. Later on, I realized my catalog actually transfers over, so a lot of, basically every item that I had was available in the catalog, and I can buy it back, except for like some of the really special ones that I got over, you know, Wi-Fi or like download stations like Toys R Us events, those things. Those items did not carry over, unfortunately.
The thing that I still very much like about this game, and like any previous Animal Crossing, is that it's totally laid back. You know, it's not like a stressful game, but you still feel like you're doing something. You know, you're making progress towards something. And I think things like the mushroom, you know, picking up mushrooms every day and things like that, are kind of play into that really well, because you know, if you want to collect all the mushroom furniture, then you're going to go in there every day and just kind of look around for mushrooms and pick them up and do whatever.
You know, when I go home after work, how often will I play this game versus like any other console game that I have there hooked up to my television? You know, like, am I going to play this or am I going to play Fable? Like, you know, it's really a time-consuming game for, I guess, for a console. It's just like a different mentality you have with it. So I was a little worried that I actually wouldn't play it as much, but they actually make it really easy to just play for 10 minutes at a time. And if you want to play for a longer stint, actually they have a really easy way for you to change the calendar this time. So they have it built right into the menu system, so you don't even have to trick it by changing your hardware system's date and time. You just go in and there's an option in the beginning before you load up your game to change the game's time. The thing is, I've never really cared much for my neighbors. If they added some more ways for you to interact with the neighbors, I think that it might have helped a lot.
It's also the kind of game where they could just do so much more with it. Like even just the city itself. Like when they first announced it, I just assumed the city was like an online hub. And while the city is still cool, like it just, yeah, they could have done so much more, I think. And
it really does feel like a half step. I'm almost curious if they just did this as like a, you know, in between Animal Crossing game, and that maybe I'm being hopeful that there is like a bigger and better Animal Crossing out there to be had, and maybe they're working on it and they just put this out in the meantime. But like I kind of, yeah, it really feels like it's Animal Crossing 2.5, and I was kind of really hoping for Animal Crossing 3.0.
If anything, this game basically reaffirms how much of a freaking jerk Tom Nook is.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I was
go
playing
back.
after you, so the controls were nothing that I was used to at all, so I was like, where the hell am I kicking right now?
Okay.
First of all, you worked on this game.
Yeah. I used to work at Backbone Entertainment as an intern. That was my first job. Back then, it was still sort of in development, and
Right.
Capcom was thinking about actually canceling the game because there
Word?
was this.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
like 2005, right?
No, it was
When you
actually
started production.
beginning of 2007. It was Backbone who actually helped the game to survive because they really thought it was going to be one of the biggest sellers on Xbox Live. And
Was
so-
this before or after Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting had like become a smash on Xbox Live?
Actually, it was afterwards. So they
Wow.
were thinking that, you know, it's not really that much different from the game that's out there. So why should they invest so much money in this new remake?
So what do you guys think of the new art style? And maybe more specifically the backgrounds, because the background characters, a lot of them look a lot different, and it's almost a little
They're much
shocking.
more animated.
I feel like they have the same level of detail in some cases as the characters that you're playing, so it makes them difficult to distinguish. Like sometimes the detail of those characters kind of interferes with the detail of your characters. It doesn't draw my eye away too much, so I think it's a win in the end. But I could see people not liking that. T-Hawk stage has a bunch of like people in the background, a lot of movement, and could distract you from like the actual gameplay.
Yeah, hasn't done that for me yet, but I like how when each round is over, and then you kind of look back there, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, because like these things are burned into your mind, all these stages. You know them all, and like from Chun-Li's guy choking the chicken or whatever. Right. Like you know all these guys, they're like neighbors to you, and a lot of them are still there, but just like they look so much better, like they got like a facelift or something.
Except for then there's like Fei Long stage, which it looks like totally static and has like nothing
that
going.
That stage looks the same to me.
Yeah, it basically looks the same.
That's how Hong Kong looks like in real life. Sorry.
Thing that I'm really happy with about the new character sprites, like you can jump in and there's no like relearning process. Like,
no,
it feels like
pretty much like it's natural. It feels like old Super Turbo.
Everything, like even the weird like throat ticks and all this sort of thing, like it all feels just right so far. I mean, to be honest, like it's not like we've been playing this game for all that long. We got it a few days ago. We've only played a few matches online, but what I've played so far of the online makes me think it's probably got the best netcode of any fighter thus far.
It really has everything I've ever wanted. Like if you told me as a kid like 10 years ago, we'd have this great looking game, but like the same game as it always was. It's like Street Fighter fans will continue to buy this game because, at least for all of us, it's pretty much perfection. It's like that's a game I could play forever.
All the moves, they come right back. Even these like, two, 3-hit combos that, like, it's like your fingers just remember that stuff.
Like there's those dip switch modes where you can change how the game plays, just like it was an arcade game, and put in the features that you like having Sagat be able to have new moves.
Most people are going to get it and look at it and they're going to be like, ooh, it's the same game, but there's like some HD graphics. But like, the people that this was really made for, like all the crazy frame counters and stuff, there's all kinds of changes to this game. That,
the hardcore community
it's going to be interesting to see how they parse all that.
I think I know my characters pretty well. So the changes made to my characters, sometimes I do agree with, sometimes I don't. One of the prime examples is Dhalsim. If you play Super Turbo, you know that Dhalsim is a top tier character. His long moves can control distance and zoning. As simple as that. He can push people out and basically just punish them. The changes made to Dhalsim is pretty interesting because they kind of nerfed him. He no longer can use his throw loops. That's huge for Dhalsim players.
Right. So do you think this balances out the game? I mean, is it a good thing that they did that?
It depends, man. I don't know the balance right now because it's too early.
Of course, it's so long for people to figure out.
And you're also talking about characters who actually got strengthened, like E Honda.
E Honda got strengthened. Have you seen his new jab headbutt? E Honda couldn't really do well against fireball characters. In order to compensate for that disadvantage, he gets a new property in his jab headbutt. It still goes horizontally across the floor, but if it contacts with a fireball, the fireball will dissipate. Think of it, Ryu is trying to zone E Honda through fireballs, right? E Honda is a charged character. That means it has to charge for a special attack. If you jump, you lose that charge.
Right.
Give him a jab fireball that propels his momentum, moves him forward, get distance. Shit, that opens a new game for E Honda.
I discovered today that I'm very happy with Chun-Li is that her stupid spinning bird kick that nobody ever uses. Like now, instead of going across the screen, it does like this arcing hop. So you can hop over fireballs.
Hop over fireballs.
So that's
good for maybe cross-ups, good to escape cross-ups. Chun-Li got some pretty good tools.
I was expecting a game that was essentially the same old game with new graphics.
Right.
And then when you go into something and like look at the dip switch menu and you see how many things you have control over, or like you say, notice all these new moves that weren't there before. It'll be so much fun to figure out the new uses for all that stuff.
Kind of more excited about this than I really am about Street Fighter 4.
Me too.
Just because this is a sure thing. Like this is gonna be awesome. Like Street Fighter 4, I'm sure I have high hopes for it.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's got a lot to live up to.
If you have an arcade stick and you're connected online at home, it's like to play this with my friends, like my friends back home they played with as kids, or just even any of you guys, just online, each having your own setup, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more.
As long as the online play holds up, and like I say, from what we've
So
played
far,
so
in
far,
the office so far, it's been working out great.
Yeah,
we
it feels really good.
We haven't had real world test yet, but
who knows what'll happen. I'm really hopeful though. If it stays like this, if the online play stays totally consistent like we've had, I mean, it's not it feels like there's like this slight difference between playing online and playing locally. It almost doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Because in the end, I keep beating Ryan, and like I'm like that is true to life. That nothing has changed.
All right, I'm still on.
Ryan, pass it over. Yeah.
Derek.
The AI director is a real person.
There's a real sadistic asshole the other end of the computer.
He is a real person that sits up, and in fact, it might be Gabe Newell himself. He sits back at his desk and just likes to fuck with people 24 hours a day. Just when you think you have the game figured out and you think you have a strategy to outsmart it, it will fuck you over in a second. It goes from 0 to like 400 instant.
Everyone will be dead in your party, and you'll be walking around. I remember one time specifically, I was like, I'm gonna make it, guys! And instantly, like right after I said that, a boomer spit up on me, and then I got attacked by like every zombie in the world. As soon as you think you're okay, you're no longer okay.
Shooters always feel a certain way on consoles and they feel a certain way on PC. And somehow this game feels almost as fast and responsive. I won't say it's not one-to-one. It's really accurate. Like, I'm incredibly accurate.
Oh yeah, I'm super accurate.
Yeah.
I think you're a lot more accurate when you're on PC though. And,
no, you are, but basically it's that you are not as gimped.
I can do things like have a wall of zombies out in front of me and go headshot, 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 and hit like 4 in the exact order that I want, just like I would on a PC.
And I'm not sure how they're doing the aim assist, but it's not obvious the way many games do. A lot of games, there'll be someone running behind a wall, and your cursor will kind of move on its own. And I haven't seen any of that.
I think COD 4 has my favorite control of FPS on a console, and this one's like a close second.
And honestly, it was necessary on console because many times you have so many really fast enemies moving in every direction. You would have to be able to do that, be that fast and accurate.
one of the controls that I liked on the 360 controller was that
right bumper, the quick turn.
Yeah, to do a 180. Like that definitely helps.
A quick turn on a console sounds like such a good idea to me that I can't believe it, but I don't use it because I can turn around fast enough.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I got it.
There's a lot of tiny touches that Left 4 Dead has I actually think should be replicated across all games. Like the fact that your dudes automatically say reloading.
Reloading.
Another little thing is how you can take a break as easily as doing AFK or in 360, you just hit take a break. AI seamlessly takes over for you. So it's like, okay, here you go get some Cheetos right now. You go get your Cheetos, the AI plays for you, probably plays better than you.
Yeah.
You come back and you say resume, you're back in the game instantly. I'm like, shit, Gears 3 needs like a hot swappable in and out.
Pipe bombs!
I really like the effects that a boomer has on you. Like when they do vomit on you, your screen turns green, and then like you can't really see very well.
You get that screechy like violent like psycho / horror movie soundtrack noise.
And that's one of the things that the game does really well. It doesn't use a lot of music, but when it does, it totally works at setting the atmosphere. For example, when the first time you hear a witch crying. And they use a lot of auditory clues to kind of like, fill you in on what's going on.
Every infected has like a distinct noise. Like when you actually play, you start learning like the boomers groan, the hunters kind of like weird screech.
When you start out in the safe room, there's graffiti written on the walls, which are really funny, like really clever. Like I think everyone that plays it should take the time to read all the graffiti.
I mean, our entire conversation is done all in graffiti.
Ready for this?
It has some of the most organic achievements of any game. Like a lot of games have like just artificial, like get 6 headshots, very MMO kind of achievements.
It teaches you how to play the game. Yeah. That's what's so interesting about it. Like there's a one where if you melee a boomer, then you shoot him, then the explosion of all his guts doesn't land on you, and you get an achievement for it. And that when I was reading through my achievement lists, I was like, oh, okay, well that's how you take out a boomer without getting dirty.
There's a 4-second window where a smoker grabs you, you can hit them before he. And there's achievement like you managed to hit the smoker before he can pull you in. It's like okay, that is a viable time. Like if you're quick enough within that window, you can turn around and pelt him right when he grabs you.
I only had like 2% health left, and I revived my teammate by using the health pack, and then you totally get an achievement for that.
It's a criticism I actually have with the game is the disconnect between, there are 4 difficulty settings. You have casual, normal, advanced, and expert. There is a huge jump between normal and advanced when you're playing cooperatively.
Totally.
When you're playing by yourself, your AI bots, even on advanced, do a really good job of helping you out. And I would actually say the game is actually easier just playing with bots
much easier
than playing cooperatively.
Because unlike real human assholes, bots will actually heal you. They'll protect you.
Hey, don't judge me for that. Like I had to continue the human race. I had to leave your ass. Like them's the rule.
They just don't take as much damage. So if you're playing on advanced, they actually end up saving their health packs more, and they're really quick to use them on you. So if you're low on health, they'll come over and be like, I'm healing you.
Thanks, brother. Heal up, Francis.
I know we gotta move, but I gotta heal.
And I played this game in the past, so I kind of knew what I was getting into, and I knew it was going to be really fun. The things that were surprising was that the console version was as good, fun and easy to play as it is, and how much fun and different and weird it is to finally get to play as the infected.
Yes.
Which is really different than I thought it was going to be.
First thing you have to realize, they control completely differently than a human. I mean,
especially depending on which infected you're playing as.
As well. Each infected class has a different like feel about them, a different way of movement.
And it's randomized support. It's basically what the director feels like spawning at that point. It's like, you know what? I feel like fucking with the other team, like playing a hunter or a couple smokers. So all of a sudden, it's like, you're gonna be a hunter, you're gonna be a smoker. Make me proud, the director say.
I love playing as the infected. I didn't initially, it took me a while to get used to it, but once I did, I really dug it. I do feel like there are some people that are not going to like playing as an infected. Sure. Because it is different. It's a different pace of play.
I understand why too, because you don't last as long. You don't have as much health as a survivor, so that's something that you're not used to right away.
You're gonna have to respawn, be ready to respawn a lot, be ready to make every shot count. Because basically, you really have one chance to like take 1, maybe 2 people down.
You have 1 vomit take, and then you gotta like stand back for like 35 seconds and wait for it to recharge again.
Your pounce. If you miss your pounce once, you got a long time before you can pounce again.
Every single type of infected has its use. A hunter is perfect for distraction. There was one instance where we were in the farm level blood harvest. You guys were heading towards the farmhouse. Sharky was a hunter, and he jumped on someone else on the other side of the house. Everyone went to go help him. Scooter was just kind of standing there, so I stuck my tongue out, pulled him in, and just killed him because no one could roll up on him.
Right, because everyone else was dealing with the hunter.
You have a smoker at the end of a hall, like pull a survivor. The other survivor's gonna chase that guy, and then have a boomer standing on the side, just like vomit all of them as they go by.
It's totally like great for the game.
Do you want to fuck with other people's experiences? Play as the infected.
When you're playing as infected, you can develop like kind of strategies, and it's good to strategize with the other infected players. As survivors, one of my favorite things about this game is that you can have strategies and you can have tactics, but just because you have a good strategy doesn't really mean anything, because at any point the AI director can just like come in and trash it. Like one thing can change the entire game. Like everything could be going fine, and one wrong tongue like into a giant pile of fire or something like that will totally screw up everything you were working towards and can really bring you down. I haven't quite finished all 4 of the campaign, all 4 of the movies basically. I've gotten very close to finishing all of them, and I've finished I think 2 of them. So I've essentially seen all the art in the game, you know what I mean?
If you break it down on paper, it's not that much content.
No.
If you would only play through it once.
Especially they all follow a pretty strict formula as well. It's always like 4 chapters of go from point A to point B. Last chapter, be at point B, survive for X number of minutes until the game ends and you get rescued.
After a couple nights of playing this thing, you'll have seen everything that the game can throw at you, and it's about the variations on what it can throw at you that's interesting.
Right. On PC, Valve has always been very aggressive, putting a ton of content for free out there, and they've told us, you know, expect the same from PC. They've also told us they're going to really try to bring much more content to 360 side. I hope they can, and I hope they can turn it around quickly, because it's a different process getting it certified. Obviously, it's not going to be free, just because that's not how it works.
I don't think we'll see anything else this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if before the second half of next year, there are a couple new movies to play through. And I think as long as they're up to the same level of quality as the stuff we've seen so far, which they will be because it's Valve, you know, it's gonna be really fun to play.
Team Fortress 2 came with like what, 6 maps total, and to this day, people still play DE Dust on Counter-Strike. Of all things, like Valve knows that like, all right, you know, you might think, oh, this is enough content. They're like, I might get all of it. They tune the level just enough that you will find yourself playing it over and over.
Look at that. 1-0.
Yeah, I got my money on Peter, though. I think Peter's going to come through with this one.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What do you say we, Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll bet 20 on Peter.
What do you got? 25. How about that?
Okay, I raise your 25. We'll up it to 50. 50?
All right, you're on. 50.
All right.
$50.
50 it is.
Yeah, 50.
Peter, you got it.
Pete, your mom's vagina smells like lemonade.
Guile is totally Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Good luck with the match. 55
Yo.
Oh my god.
Quit playing this old shit. I got 4 here. 4! That's 2 better than what you got. Come with me. Come on.
Well, you got this match.
Bet's off, bitch.
Wait. No. Bet can't be off. We shook hands.
Hey, sit down.
All right, I'll sit down.
Man, fuck 3D.
Yeah, 3D's nuts. That's what I think.